Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video we'll be going over the Washington Commanders injury report and talk about the Washington Commanders possibly benching Emmanuel Forbes. If you guys are new, hit that like button and subscribe and that notification bell as well. It really does help out the channel, and check out BetUS, link in the description. Alright, so let's talk about it. So the Commanders got back today to work in practice, and early on Emmanuel Forbes was watching the secondary going through their work, and he rotated in later, and John Keim says no guarantee he remains as the third corner. Danny Johnson in the slot remains a definite possibility. All about how Forbes responds, and that totally is true, and it's an interesting dilemma for the coaching staff because obviously right now Forbes isn't playing well. As back-to-back weeks where he got torched by the number one receiver, and even before that he wasn't playing amazing besides the Cardinals game where I thought he had a really good game. But if you bench him like to start out the game, that could be really bad for his confidence. So it's something you have to keep in mind with Emmanuel Forbes. You can't destroy his confidence, but also Ron Rivera knows he's coaching for his job, and honestly there's not a lot he can do to keep this job, but he's trying to do everything he can, and he wants to win. So if, playing Emmanuel Forbes doesn't help him do that, then he might have to bench him, and that's what he's done the last two games. And even after they benched him in the Bears game, like Kendall Fuller was still getting cooked. But it's definitely something that is going to be considered. Also, Benjamin St-Juste playing on the outside is something that I would definitely like to see more, because last year I thought he played pretty well on the outside, and I think he's better suited for the outside, than the slot. So that is one, possible positive, that if Forbes is benched, you can have Kendall Fuller and Benjamin St-Juste on the outside, and that might be better for Benjamin St-Juste. Or maybe, I don't know if it would help out, but you could move Emmanuel Forbes into the slot and play him there, more. I don't know. They have a lot of different things they need to think about. Let's see. I have a couple clips. Or this is what Ron Rivera, he was asked if Forbes will have the same status/workload given his struggles last couple weeks, and then Rivera says we'll see. It depends on how Forbes responds this week. So yeah, they're definitely considering, and that's why the title is Commanders are considering benching him, because they are, and he's been the starter for the last for the whole season really. But they could definitely bench him for Danny Johnson. That's not a great indictment, but also at the same time it would really hurt his confidence. So I don't know if I would do that. I would run it back with him again, and if it's bad early, that's when you bench him, and then after that he needs to earn it. Or you could do the opposite where you bench him and to start out the game, and if Danny Johnson's struggling, or even Kendall Fuller, Benjamin St-Juste are, you can go ahead and put him in for them. But I doubt they're going to bench Kendall Fuller or Benjamin St-Juste, but just something to consider here. He is doing some work today in practice. Let me go back here so you guys can see. Breaking up a pass there. He's broken up a decent amount of passes. He just has to make some turnovers, because it's one thing if you're going to get burnt. That's one thing. But if you're going to get burnt and not produce turnovers, that's another thing. Like Trayvon Diggs in that year where there was so much controversy with him, like is he a good corner or not? Well, he was getting burnt, but he also had 11 interceptions. When you make 11 interceptions, you're changing the game every time you make an interception, and that's almost every single game he played, and he probably had some recovered fumbles or forced fumbles. So he's basically causing a turnover almost every single game. Even though he's getting beat, he's somewhat making up for it with the turnovers. But Forbes hasn't done that. The whole thing is he's been in position to do that. He just hasn't come up with those interceptions, and he was able to do that in college. So I think that'll kind of revert to the norm. And also, I talked about this in yesterday's video, but he's been biting too much on the double moves, and that's something that you got to be less aggressive. It's not, he said this in the offseason, they're not college QBs, so they're better, and the receivers are better as well. So you can't be biting on the double moves expecting these guys to expecting to pick it off. Or also, you can't always, unless you know you're going to get there, you can't try to jump the pass, because these quarterbacks are better. They throw it quicker than they did in college, than the quarterbacks in college did. So you're not going to have as much time to go in there and break the pass up. He did that once in the game, and DJ Moore beat him. But it's all about the response for Forbes. I hope he's good mentally, both in the game and off the field. and hopefully he's able to bounce back for this game. That they need him. Like, they need turnovers in a really bad way right now, and they need the defense to play better. And it starts with him and those some other guys in the secondary. And there's going to be changes there with Quan Martin, or with Derek Force getting out, and maybe Quan Martin and Percy Butler getting more PT. But if he can force some turnovers, it'll help out this team a ton, and that's why they drafted him. Moving on, the Commanders announced they opened the 21-day window for defensive end/defensive tackle Fauoa, who is on IR. So that's good news for the Commanders. And spoiler alert, he practiced in full today. So I expect him to play this week against the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe they'll end up giving him an extra week. They sometimes do that. They want to give the guys time to get accustomed to everything. I think he'll play, though, and that'll be a boost for the Commanders. Give Sweat and Chase a little bit of a break, and then also give maybe Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne a little bit of break. Phidarian Mathis is nowhere to be seen. It's really frustrating, man. 2 years in a row, and we haven't gotten an impact at all from our second-round pick, when at the time almost everyone didn't like the pick because, similar to Quan Martin, it wasn't the biggest position of need, and like there wasn't a clear, like, for Phidarian Mathis, he was going to be at best the third defensive tackle on the team, and of course he got hurt. I think he would have been a contributor, but still. And then Quan Martin was the fourth safety, so both picks didn't make the most sense when there's other positions in need. But can't go back. We just got to see what these guys can do. Phidarian Mathis, I have no idea what's up with the calf injury. It's been 2 months, maybe more, honestly. It's been what happened early August, so like 2.5 months at this point, and almost 2.5 months, and there's no sign of him coming back, so he could be out for a long time. And at that point, first 2 years, and you basically don't even play a snap, that's concerning. And he'll be fighting for a roster spot next year, especially if we have a new regime in. Yeah, it's unfortunate because second-round picks are very, very valuable. Okay, injury report. And I think in the future, they just got to trade. You trade the second-round picks. Either trade up and get a better first-round pick, or trade back and get some third-round picks, because it does not work with them. DMP, Curtis Hodges, he's still on the roster. I'm just kidding. But, I mean, yeah, Curtis Hodges, DMP, and Christian Holmes, both out. Christian Holmes, this isn't like a huge loss if he doesn't play, but Jeremy Reeves out, so having Christian Holmes out would be a little bit of a loss because both those guys are good on special teams. So hopefully he's able to suit up. But hamstring injuries, I don't know. It looks like he'll probably be out. And then Charles Leno, Curtis Samuel, and Fauoa all played in full. And then I was thinking of one other guy. I don't know. I don't know who I was thinking. Oh, Chris Rodriguez, off the injury report, finally good to go with that with that illness. That's good. Because, he missed a couple games, so I don't know what it was, but he's good to go. And then Ron Rivera put a do your job sign in the locker room, which is interesting. I don't think it's a big deal, but in his press conference, I just watched it before making this video, waiting for the injury report. He was really mad. He was really mad. You could tell, like, he didn't show it, like, obviously, like, changing his tone and yelling, but you could tell he was upset with the players. And a lot of it's on him because this is the third or fourth year in a row it's been a slow start. And 2-3 isn't terrible, but you should have beat the Bears. You should be 3-2 right now. So 3 or 4 years in a row with underwhelming starts. And at some point, it's on you and it's not on the players. If the players change, but the same thing happens. So I would say for Rivera, you got to do your job too. But it also is on the players. Like some of these players are just not making plays, and they're in the position to do so. So those guys got to step up, but also Rivera is the one that brought a lot of these guys in, which is why I just don't love the coach-centric approach that we have here. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Solid injury news overall, getting back at Fauoa, and then no one's really significant on the injury report. Obviously, Derek Force and Jeremy Reeves out suck, though. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.